From Mary Poppins, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, The Carol Burnett Show, we all know and love Dick Van Dyke. December 13th is the entertainment icon's 100th birthday. Joining us this morning is Glenmont resident and Dick Van Dyke superfan, the other DVD, David Van Deusen. Good morning.
Good morning,
Thanks
Emma.
for joining us.
Thanks for having me today.
Now, there are several documentaries coming out ahead of Dick's 100th birthday.
There
You
are.
Contributed to two of them. Tell me a little bit about them.
So, American Masters PBS will be airing a special on December 12th at 9 p.m. I helped out tremendously in terms of research and providing contacts to individuals, and I've seen a screener of the film, and I think fans are really going to appreciate it. They really have dug deep to look into the archives about Dick's life and career.
Nice.
The second will be a Fathom film event. The film will show only in theaters on December 13th and 14th. Dick's birthday is the 13th, as you just mentioned, so fans should look locally here. I think Regal Theaters will have it, Cross Gates and Colony Center, and that also is a fun film. I actually have a little cameo in that film with Larry Matthews, who was Richie on the Dick Van Dyke Show. We were able to offer birthday greetings to Dick in film, and they've included it.
Amazing. Now,
Yeah.
You are very familiar. You've met the family. You've met Dick himself.
Right.
Tell me about some of the work you've done prior to this, because you had the Walnut Times.
Right. For 20 years, I published a newsletter called the Walnut Times about the Dick Van Dyke Show. That was a takeoff of a very famous episode from the Dick Van Dyke Show called "It May Look Like a Walnut." Fans probably remember Mary Tyler Moore coming out of their front closet on 1,800 pounds of walnuts as she slid out into the living room. So for 20 years, I published, got to meet many of the cast, Dick, Carl Reiner, Rose Marie, Mary Tyler Moore, so many from the show. Dick is just the most down-to-earth guy that you would ever want to meet. He's exactly as you would expect him to be, you know, when you meet him.
We've all grown up with him. I mean, I remember watching the movies at my grandparents' house. You also have a podcast.
I do.
And a special episode coming out tomorrow. Tell me about that.
Yeah, a special episode will drop tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. A co-host with me, we go back and talk about old episodes of the Dick Van Dyke Show. And there were a few that celebrated Rob Petrie's birthday, the role that Dick played. So we thought that would be appropriate at this point in time to honor his 100th by going back and looking at one of his fictitious ones on the Dick Van Dyke Show. So we'd love to have fans watch that. The podcast is available on all the major streaming platforms, and it's called Tripping Over the Ottoman, which we thought was also a bit appropriate.
Amazing. Tripping Over the Ottoman. We'll have all the information where you can find these documentaries. You can get tickets to see the one at the theaters. David, thank you so much for joining us this
My pleasure.
morning. We will send it over to a break, but we'll be back for a look at the forecast when we come back.